It's another day and another news story. Welcome to Learn English with News. I'm Ben, your host, and today's news is all about a poor victim of romance fraud. Later, we'll be discussing how we use would to speak about the future. This is Learn English with News, a podcast for English learners where we focus on vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation and more, all while discussing an interesting news story. Welcome once again to Learn English with News. Now, before we hear today's news story, let's take a look at the vocabulary. These are keywords we'll be using in today's news story, which you might not know or you might not be sure about. So listen very carefully, see if you can understand them based on the context, and then at the end we'll come back to all of these words to look at what they mean and how I use them. And if you'd like to write them down, now is a good time to get yourself a piece of paper and a pen if you can. We have 3 words: a noun, a verb, and an adjective. The noun is scam. S-C-A-M, scam. The verb is con. C-O-N, con. And the adjective is shaken. S-H-A-K-E-N, shaken. So we have scam, con, and shaken. Those are the 3 key words. Listen out for those. We'll come back to them at the end. And as I mentioned earlier, we're also going to be discussing in our grammar section how we use would to speak about the future from a past perspective. So see if you can hear how I use would in the news story, speaking about the future from a past perspective. Later we'll practice. And you will have another opportunity to listen to the news story at the end of the episode. Okay, here is today's news story. A 76-year-old Belgian man was left heartbroken and embarrassed after travelling 760 kilometres to meet a woman he believed would be his future wife, only to discover he had been the victim of a romance scam. Michelle, a widower, had been exchanging messages on WhatsApp for several weeks with someone claiming to be Sophie Vouzelot, a former Miss France finalist. Convinced the relationship was real, he paid 30,000 euros and made the long journey to her home in Saint-Julien in central France on July the 9th. But when he arrived, he was not met by Ms. Vouzelot, but by her husband, Fabien. Michelle reportedly said, "I am the future husband of Sophie Vouzelot." Fabien replied, "Well, I'm the current one." The moment was captured in a video Fabien later shared online. The couple explained Michel had been conned, urging him to go to the police. It's not known whether he has done so. "I am an imbecile," Michel reportedly told them, visibly shaken. Romance fraud is when someone is conned into sending money to a criminal who convinces them they are in a genuine relationship. The couple has been widely praised for posting the video and raising awareness of the crime. According to Action Fraud, signs of romance fraud include a person being secretive about their relationship or becoming hostile or angry when asked about their online partner. Potential victims have been warned to be suspicious of any requests for money from someone they have never met in person, particularly if they have only recently met online. And that's today's news story. Okay, so a really unfortunate, difficult experience for Michelle, and a good warning for any potential victims of this to be very careful, especially when speaking online to strangers. Okay, we are going to look at our grammar point in just a moment, how we use would to speak about the future. But first, let's take a look at our key words Did you hear them? Did you understand them? We had scam, con, and shaken. Let's begin with scam. He discovered he had been the victim of a romance scam. So a scam is a dishonest scheme, a fraud. And then we have the word con. Similar, but this is a verb. The couple explained Michelle had been conned. So we're using the verb con here in the passive voice. And con means to persuade someone to do or believe something by lying to them. So he had been persuaded to do something or believe something. And then we have the final word, shaken. I am an imbecile, Michelle reportedly told them, visibly shaken. So if someone is shaken, they are upset and unable to think calmly. Those are the key words. Hopefully they are clear. Let's move on now to the grammar point, how we use would to talk about the future from a past perspective. So we use would when we are talking about the future from a past point of view. It is the past form of will in reported speech or indirect speech. So if you think about how you use will from the present perspective, well, you're just talking about the future. For example, I think I will have a coffee. That's the present thinking about the future. But if it's the past thinking about the future, that's when you use would. I thought I would have a coffee. So we can see here that the structure is subject, then would, and then the verb. In the news story, I said, a 76-year-old Belgian man was left heartbroken and embarrassed after travelling 760 kilometres to meet a woman he believed would be his future wife. So if we think about that from the present perspective, he believes she will be his future wife, but now we are looking back at the future from a past perspective to meet a woman he believed would be his future wife. Other examples, if we think about direct speech from the present view, I will call you later, she said. And then if we report that from the past view, she said she would call me later. We're shifting everything from the present back to the past, and that includes the word will, which becomes would. Thinking about the future in the past, we can say something like, I knew he would get the job. So at that time in the past, I believed this would happen in the future. I knew he would get the job. In the present, that's I know he will. And in the past, I knew he would. Also with time expressions, they promised they would arrive by 6 p.m. So they said this earlier, and 6 p.m. was in the future from that moment. So in the present, they promise they will arrive by 6 p.m. In the past, they promised they would arrive by 6 p.m. Okay, so that's how it works. Hopefully that's relatively straightforward. We're going to practice this now with a little exercise. I'd like you to rewrite each sentence using would to express the future from a past point of view. So we've got a few sentences. Here's number one. She will help us with the project, said John. So that's the direct speech. She will help us with the project, said John. We want to make that into a new sentence now, starting with John said she. Okay, next. I think they will call me back. I think they will call me back. Now, can you make that from a past perspective using I thought they? The next one, he promised, I will send the email tomorrow. He promised, I will send the email tomorrow. So here we have some direct speech. So let's have a new sentence starting with, he promised he... And the last one, we believe the train will leave on time. We believe the train will leave on time. So that's from a present perspective. Now let's move that back to the past. We believed the train. Okay, let's quickly look at those answers before we listen to the news story a second time. With the first one, John said he would help us with the project. The second one, I thought they would call me back. The third one, he promised he would send the email tomorrow. And the last one, we believed the train would leave on time. Okay, we are going to listen to the news story a second time. Before we do that, if you enjoyed today's episode, then please subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a review, and spread the word by recommending this podcast to anyone you think would find it helpful. Maybe you have some friends or family, classmates or colleagues who are wanting to improve their English. Well, let them know about Learn English with News. And if you'd like to support me and the podcast, then consider joining the Learn English with Ben fan club page, where you'll get lots of extra bonus content, including a full transcript of today's news story and a comprehension quiz. And if you'd like to support me, but you don't need the bonus stuff, then take a look at my Buy Me a Coffee page. So you can visit patreon.com/Learn English with Ben for the fan club, and buymeacoffee.com/Learn English with Ben for the Buy Me a Coffee page. I've left a link in the description of this episode. Right, let's see if you understand the news story a bit better the second time. I'll be back soon with another episode of Learn English with News. Here is, once again, today's news story. A 76-year-old Belgian man was left heartbroken and embarrassed after travelling 760 kilometres to meet a woman he believed would be his future wife, only to discover he had been the victim of a romance scam. Michelle, a widower, had been exchanging messages on WhatsApp for several weeks with someone claiming to be Sophie Vuzelot, a former Miss France finalist. Convinced the relationship was real, he paid 30,000 euros and made the long journey to her home in Saint-Julien in central France on July the 9th. But when he arrived, he was not met by Ms. Vuzelot, but by her husband, Fabien. Michelle reportedly said, "I am the future husband of Sophie Vuzelot." Fabien replied, "Well, I'm the current one." The moment was captured in a video Fabien later shared online. The couple explained Michelle had been conned, urging him to go to the police. It's not known whether he has done so. "I am an imbecile," Michelle reportedly told them, visibly shaken. Romance fraud is when someone is conned into sending money to a criminal who convinces them they are in a genuine relationship. The couple has been widely praised for posting the video and raising awareness of the crime. According to Action Fraud, signs of romance fraud include a person being secretive about their relationship or becoming hostile or angry when asked about their online partner. Potential victims have been warned to be suspicious of any requests for money from someone they have never met in person, particularly if they have only recently met online. And that's today's news story.